The Macstock Live panel on stage at Macstock 2025, Part 1. This is MacVoices. MacVoices is supported by our Patreon subscribers. Get access to the MacVoices Slack, the MacVoices Discord, MacVoices After Dark, and have your name listed at the end of each episode of MacVoices. Sign up at patreon.com/MacVoices. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. This is part one of a two-part session at Macstock Conference and Expo with the MacVoices Live panel live on stage. We had a lot of fun, and I hope you will enjoy it. A couple notes, though, before you dig into this. First of all, for those of you who are listening to the audio version, you will hear maybe some inconsistency in the conversation, and that's because we had comments from the audience, sometimes protracted comments that were just not picked up by the mics, and we didn't have a mic for them to utilize. So rather than have you sit through some of those comments, again, some of which were lengthy, that you really couldn't hear at all, I've chosen to cut those out. For those of you who are watching the video version, you've just heard what I've told the audio people. Instead of silences or long sessions of us just staring at things, you will just see a quick transition. So everything lines up nice and neat. Just so you know what you're seeing and why. With that, let's let the panel do the talking. So for those of you who are not familiar with our show, we do sort of a pre-show as everybody comes in, and then we do a post-show as everybody goes out. So consider this the pre-show.
So after dark.
After dark. Everything's after dark. So, so yesterday morning, I apparently was told that I'm starting an escort service. Today it was proposed that I do an OnlyFans page. So I don't quite know what's going on. I got to figure out the guest appearances on the OnlyFans, though. I'm not sure how that'll work out. Anyway.
Not going to.
So what we ask for you to provide us with some questions. I got one question. Thank you very much. So if this goes wrong, it's on you that you didn't provide questions. So in 3, 2.
Underpants. Now we can start.
Thank you very much. This is MacVoices Live at Macstock. And this is really unusual for us because we call it MacVoices Live because we do it live Tuesday nights on YouTube. This is the first time we've all ever been on a single stage together or even done a live show together. So this is kind of unusual for us, so we're going to figure it all out, and hopefully you all are going to help us. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Start out with the first question I got, and Janet Potter was very nice. She did give us one question. She wanted to know when it's appropriate to eat dessert before dinner. Every day. Okay.
You are a grown-up. You get to choose.
So, Janet, if you're here, if not, this will be on the recording, and you can do with it what you want.
Actually, there's a better answer.
There's a better answer?
Yes.
Okay.
Anytime you're wearing a Vision Pro, it's appropriate to eat dessert because no one can see your avatar chewing anything.
That is true.
I did not know that. So you can be eating happily away and your avatar's just sitting
And
there?
even if you're like feeding yourself, it just kind of is a wider area and it's just fuzzy.
It whites it out.
Yeah.
When you
Did you ever consider
mouth,
taking the headset off and just eating?
No, it was such a great discovery that you could chew and not gross people out while you were talking to somebody in a meeting. It was awesome.
you can smile, you can stick your tongue out, but if you put anything over your mouth, no, you're it's all season.
You're golden. You can drink, you can eat.
Okay, there's your first Vision Pro tip for the evening. For more things like this, come to the Vision Profiles discussion later.
Sorry, Chuck.
No, that's all right. That's all right. So I did want to start out, though, with something that David, we recorded an episode of David Show's Thursday night here up in one of the conference rooms. Eric said something that really struck me, and you're going to laugh at first, but there's, I think, a depth to it. Eric, and I'm going to paraphrase as best I can, but Eric suggested maybe all of us have never grown up. Now, There's evidence to that for obvious reasons. But the point he was making was that we all still have that passion to learn, that passion to interact, that passion to push forward instead of becoming comfortable. And it's something that I've hit that particular age that it gets a little weird here, where a lot of my friends are retiring and deciding not to do much of anything. And I don't understand that. That, you know, I can't figure out why you would want to, as much as I love to play golf, I don't want to play golf 7 days a week. You know, then it turns into a job. And so I wanted to ask this group, you know, do you feel like you've grown up from that perspective? That you are anywhere near the desire to say, I've learned enough, or I really don't have the desire to learn anything else? Britt?
I do identify as somebody who still has a learner's mindset.
Okay, that's good. Just any particular reason you think that's the case with you?
I mean, nobody wants to hear this.
Yes, we do.
One of the common traits with ADHD is a love of learning.
Okay, all right, that's fair. That's fair. We have applause for ADHD. It's interesting.
Go people.
Yeah. Norbert, you want to get in on this?
Well, I'm going to kind of date myself, but when I was little, there was a song that said that I never want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid, and I think I'm still a Toys R Us kid because learning is everything. When Mike opened up Macstock yesterday, the main phrase was "stay curious," and I think everyone on this stage is still curious.
Okay. Who's over there? Brian, I'm sorry. I got Dave between us. I can't see.
Sorry.
Yeah, so just thinking of it from an educator's perspective, definitely always wanting to be an example for my students and always wanting to continue that exploration and learning and trying something different. When I was growing up, I wasn't the best math student. I'm still not great at math, but I've got, you know, there's other staff members and lots of students who don't want to learn math. Like, no, they avoid it at all costs. And, you know, just showing that ability to try something different that might be a little bit outside your comfort zone, to be able to try something, to scaffold up and to learn something that, you know, you didn't know before, I think can really help, you know, for yourself, you know, obviously because you're learning it, but also as an example for others.
Outside your comfort zone is a really interesting statement, I think. Marty?
The answer to the question for me is yes, I'm an adult. I've grown up, but I'm still a kid. I grew up, my mother was a child of the Depression. And if any of you had a mother who was, or a father who was part of the Depression, she was very, very frugal growing up. So now that I'm an adult, I can afford the toys that I would have liked to have when I was a kid. And those toys keep me curious.
Okay. Dave?
Yeah, I mean, I too was not, when I grew up, I was growing up, that I didn't have all the toys and all that. But now I'm now very curious. As many of you know, I've got so many toys there is, and I'm buying something new and have the latest of Apple stuff. And but I'm very curious, and I continue to learn. I mean, so I've learned a lot this weekend just working with Doc and Katie with Ecamm, and I can't wait to really implement that. So just so many different things, like the rest of us have been saying here, is that we always want to learn something. I don't think I'll ever not want to learn something. Even in my job working in the corporate world, you know, I'm learning something every day. I'm doing training a lot at work every day. So that's how I'm learning, and I love continuing to do that.
And Dave has a reputation on the show for when he's in his office doing the show, all we have to do is name a piece of tech. And he says, yeah, I got that right here. And he pulls it out. That's right. It could be an iPod 1, and he can pull it out.
Right below me. It's on my knees.
Yeah, it's amazing, you know. So the one I've been dreading, because this is going to be the scariest answer of all, Jeff Gamet.
Hey, Chuck.
Hey, Jeff.
All right, well, first, the fact that you would ask, have you grown up? Look at me. But to move on to the more serious part, of course I still learn and want to learn and crave learning. one of my goals every day when I get up is to learn something new that day. And if I have not done that, well, something is horribly wrong. Maybe I'm like really sick or, but yeah, learn at least one new thing every day. And the idea of being in a state of mind or a place in my life where I've decided that I'm not really interested in learning anything new sounds so horribly dismal and tragic. I do not want to ever be that person.
That's well said. I agree. I don't know how many of you. Well, let's have a show of hands. How many people here took time off from their employment, assuming they're employed, to be here for this Thursday, Friday? Okay, so that answers the question for you all. Because I do. This is my idea of a vacation. And my friends at work think, look at me, it's like, you're doing what for your vacation? Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, I come back so energized and so enthused. I've been sitting back there taking notes on every single session. I think I'm up to 2 pages, and we're just through today. And, not every session applies to me, but I learned something new, or I'm curious about something that came from every session. And I think that has to apply to you all here. And I look out, and there are people that have the same color hair that I do, and some have less than I do.
Hey, Doc, we see you.
We see you, Doc.
Yeah, I wasn't calling any names.
That was my out loud voice, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah. But yeah, so that's something we all share. Michael. Oh, that's good. Okay, that's splitting the hair. How many people here because it's part of their work? Okay, which is good. Which is good because I mean that almost speaks more volumes than the other. That there are people here that are here because they really want to be, and I don't think that anybody that's here for work is here because they have to be. Yeah. Joe?
I was thinking that the amazing thing about everyone I've met in this audience is almost everyone is doing something with the knowledge. We're just not, I used to be the sponge, just soaked in knowledge and didn't do a thing with it, and everyone here is doing something. Helping a friend, helping parents, creating content, but we're active in that.
So Jill's comment, for those maybe in the back couldn't hear, is that everybody here is doing something with the knowledge, that she used to just be a sponge. And I think that's probably true for a lot of us. And now, we're here to get actionable information and things that we want to do. Doc.
My co-host for my other show, Mary Lou, you've met her before. So we have a saying is, we tell our people to stop procrastinating. You guys all identify with that, right? Like, I know I want to do this, but I'm going to keep learning this until I know it all, and then I'll do it. And chances are, you can't learn it all. Like, you can't learn all of Photoshop. You can't even learn all of Apple Photos. And so we have a thing we call, now we're going to switch into output mode. And right now, I'm in output season. Right?
We have a flood on.
We're going to have to cut you off, Britt.
So now we're in output season. And so I implore everyone, if you learn something from Allison or Katie or myself or whomever, go home and make something with it and go to output mode. Otherwise, it's just in your trap of weird facts like McDonald's. The Mc means the son of Donald. I didn't know that like a week ago.
Oh, okay. So what did you call it, Doc? Procrastinating? Procrastinating. Don't procrastinate.
I couldn't agree with the procrastinating more. I see that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so, Brian, I'm going to point to you because you're probably the person on this stage that has, in the last few months, maybe a little more, you started a website, you started a podcast, so somehow you got motivated. I don't know if it's because of being part of this group or just in general, but you did not procrastinate. You just started.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. It's about learning enough to get started, to be comfortable, to know that it's not going to be perfect. It will never be perfect. You just get started. You just continue making revisions. You just continue making improvements, seeking feedback, not being afraid of feedback, and embracing what you know and what you don't know, and staying hungry to learn more.
So you just brought up another interesting thing. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid. There's always going to be somebody out there that is going to say you could do this better, or and the best thing to do, I think, to say to that person is, okay, let's see you do it. Where's your podcast? Where's your website? So that may be a little confrontational, but I still think that's appropriate. What drives you all? Okay, well, whiskey's a whiskey. Maybe
whiskey.
Maybe I should come back to the panel, Marty. What? After that, Marty. Look, you produce more podcasts here than any of us, more different podcasts.
Yeah.
What drives you to do this?
I get an idea, like just today. Katie asked, what ideas do you have? It popped into my head, and then I get obsessed about it, and it's like I can't let go of it. And I will do sort of what Brian says. I'll start to investigate the waters, find somebody who's willing to do it with me, because I work better that way, having someone to help me with that and to lean off of. That's how I found Eric about over a year ago with Vision Profiles.
One episode.
What?
You said one episode.
And then I end up joining.
Yeah. Then Dave joined, and so it's infectious. But that's what drives me is I get something stuck in my head, and one of the things I learned from my parents was education's important, learning something new is important, and also you have to put yourself out there. You have to be stubborn. When you have an idea, don't let go of it. And luckily, I have people in my family who are very supportive of that now. So.
Britt, I want to ask you, you just recently became a mother, so you have, I would think, an evolving perspective on a lot of this. And and I know your little one is really little right now, but that's going to change real quick. How are you going to address that as a mother in a world that is evolving technologically, and especially with AI coming into the picture?
What, like doing stuff? Addressing which?
Addressing his inevitable desire to say, okay, I want to do something at some age, We'll
figure out a way to do it. If he's motivated enough to want to do it, we'll figure out a way to do it. I won't do it for him. I'm too busy, but will I help him set something up if he wants to do it? Absolutely.
Which part were you applauding, Katie?
You want to do it? Yeah, let's set it up. Okay. But he has to show that he really wants to do it. Okay, here's your Squarespace site. Put the stuff in.
Okay,
it's a blast from the past.
Okay. So, are you afraid for him with the world that we see evolving? And leave politics out of it, but I'm talking about the technological part.
We're probably not going to permit social media, among other things. But using the things responsibly. Will I keep an eye on what he posts? Yeah, I will. But you do that to be supportive anyway, right?
Okay.
You want to make a podcast? Okay, I will put it in my feed. I will be your first subscriber.
Good mother. Good job. Jeff, how about you? How do you feel about some of these things? Is it, or do you see opportunities? Do you see dangers? Do you see things that you just can't wait to get your hands on, or things you want to avoid?
Yes. Well, okay. You asked a whole series of questions that I can answer yes to all of them. So when I'm looking at where we are today, we have this evolution that is accelerating. And that's very exciting, but also very scary at the same time, because maybe part of that evolution is going to go fast enough that we don't understand the repercussions, whatever those might be. But at the same time, with as fast as all of this is happening, there are so many cool things that we can do today that we couldn't do a couple years ago or 10 years ago. And then just project that out to where we can be in a couple years from now. So as an example, look at the rig that you use today for recording, sitting right there. For those of you at home, you can't see it because you're in it.
Is that like a 6S? Or?
Yeah. So you have an iPhone in a rig with a camera and microphone and all that. I remember it wasn't that long ago where we would be at a conference at the same time, and that whole rig was bigger and heavier and clunkier and different microphones, and it was a process that was incredibly streamlined and cool because you designed it, but it was also kludgy compared to what you can do today. And imagine where this whole setup you have right here will be in 5 years. And I find that very exciting. And it's also empowering because as all of this technology, all of these advances, what we have as potential for AI, as this matures, that opens up new doors for us. Many of those doors we don't even know are there yet. And that's exciting. And I look forward to seeing where that takes us.
That's a great answer. And I'm looking at Doc and Katie sitting here in the front row. The capabilities that eCam gives us now to do things that we couldn't have, well, some of us were cobbling together, for years. And now we've got this incredibly powerful tool that brings it to us at an extremely affordable cost in an extremely approachable package. And, it's like, why don't you want to take advantage of this? So, thank you for just tell the guys to keep programming and keep it going. We appreciate it. Dave, you work in corporate IT, and so I know that you have certain things you can't talk about. So, but that said, business is also is facing this evolution. And what are your observations on how business is doing? I have mine, but I'm curious about yours.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing in evolution in the corporate world is AI. AI has just it's exploded. I've been dealing with Copilot, so I've been working on that pretty heavily. And I'm not going to get specifics of my company, but in general, I think companies are slowly starting to embrace it because it's something that they realize that can be really of value to how it can bring some improvements in speed of working. I mean, I did a class on Copilot, and I was showing them a lot of things that we can do, and I say, hey, you can take this spreadsheet and you can do this with it, or you can make it to, you can break it down to specific things that you're looking for, and anything that you can bring into to AI and Copilot is going to be a huge game changer. Companies are slowly adopting it. It's taking time, but they are exploring it, and that's I think if anything in the corporate world, in the areas of what they're looking at is really AI is the biggest thing I'm thinking right now.
Okay, so I'm going to expand on that a little bit.
Sure.
How many people here, if you don't mind raising your hands, how many people here pay for an AI service right now? Wow. Okay. If this may sound like a repeat question, but it's not, how many people are using AI on a daily basis? Okay, so it looks like pretty much the folks that are paying for it are definitely getting some of their money's worth because they're using it. And for those of you who are not, is it something you don't think is applicable to you? Are you afraid of it?
Chuck, I think you need to rephrase that part of the question.
Okay.
Because when you ask everyone, are you using AI? I raised my hand immediately because there are aspects of iOS and macOS that incorporate AI in this kind of transparent background sort of way, and I rely on that stuff all the time. Am I using LLMs on a daily basis? No, but I am using AI every day.
Okay, that's fair. That too is splitting the hair, but these are the kind of things we need to think about because there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we don't know.
Linda had a question.
Yeah, Linda? You mean Apple Intelligence? Okay.
In general, yeah.
Yeah. Right. So Apple Intelligence is kind of sneaking you into it, whether you. Well, I wasn't referring to that part. I was referring just to the fact that you're into AI if you're using a Mac.
I can answer that, like as far as why you would pay for it.
Okay.
As we talked about here, LLM, large language models, it's limited in what it can do. You aren't going to be able to get a lot of the answers that you want, and it's not going to be accurate, or you may not get the results that you want. I was doing that for a while. I was like, why do we have to pay? I mean, Chuck and I both did this. We just said, we don't really need to pay for it. We'll just keep using it the way it is. But once I went and paid the $20, and so those who are in this room are paying for it, you see a huge difference of what it can do. I know it's a lot of money. It's $20 a month, but I mean, and I think it's something that's worth it. And I don't know if you want to ask Doc. Doc, he's got to add something.
The primary difference is in a paid version, you can build content.
Right.
Yourself, okay. So context is important. So for instance, you have a friend that you cannot tell your friend a certain thing because it would panic them out. So you have to adjust your conversation and talk to that friend to get the exact same output that you might say adjusting to Chuck. Go with ChatGPT or Claude or any of the other guys, you can give it context. So for instance, because I'm forever talking about my content, if I go to ChatGPT right now and tell it, who am I and who's my customer avatar, it answers it. It knows it because I've had 2,000 conversations with it. Just like the relationship you have with any client or doctor or whoever. Told you super job. But you can build context, and that really does change the way it works. So when I hear people say, well, it doesn't give me the output, I said, you haven't talked to it long enough. And I will even tell you, before we got to ChatGPT, say 3 years ago when it was birthed, people who couldn't use Siri didn't talk to Siri enough. Those that talked to Siri a lot, she even started to figure out what you wanted better because you spent more time, and that goes all the way back to nuance and dragon dictate.
Yeah.
Wow.
Blast from the past. Yeah.
Okay.
And if that's the use case for you, that's beautiful. I used it for free for quite a long time. Paying for it does not stop things like hallucinations. It will still hallucinate on you. There's no pay tier for that. But if you get to a point where you want it to remember things, I've got one conversation trying to find more foods that my spouse and I will both eat. And so feeding it in our food preferences so that then if we have another conversation about recipes, it might remember my spouse's particular to this texture or something like that. And I do a lot of like coming up with descriptions and stuff that I want to write myself for my videos. And so it knows everything about my business. I've trained it to stop being so freaking over the top and over promising and over hype. And so then if I see one made like the Opus clip that Mike mentioned, it does a description and the descriptions are awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can turn off the modeling. There's in your account, at least in a paid account, you can turn it off to say, I don't want my material used for any of the modeling with ChatGPT.
For others.
It's not necessarily, it's just a difference. It's not necessarily the modeling so much as the privacy protections. I know if I'm using it through Apple, that there's a limit to the amount of information that's being taken.
To be honest, if I used it through Siri, I would not sign into my account for it because I would want that one to be private. That's just my personal preference. This is for one where I want you.
Right.
Exactly.
You're just using the general ChatGPT because you can link the account with Apple Intelligence, but you're not going to get as much of a good experience if you want to get that. Just don't. Obviously, you're putting stuff in there you're trying to find out about, and if it's something that's sensitive, then you obviously, like we all do, don't put information that you don't want to be out there. But I'll tell you what. Even the free version, and you can still get the app, the ChatGPT app. You can link the ChatGPT app to Apple Intelligence because it knows you have an account, and you can do it there as an interface or use the app. I use the app all the time on every Apple device I have, and it's just an amazing experience. And you're getting the information you need in most cases. I mean, I did my presentation today. I used it, and I got some great suggestions, and I was able to give you guys a great presentation. That's what a lot of the things that you can do with it, and that's where I'm saying that it's something that I think I would recommend at least trying it. Outside of Apple Intelligence.
So but it's funny you say that, because one of my biggest barriers to it, and I'm paying for it now, is remembering to use it and remembering what it can do for me. And recently I needed to research a particular product, and it's like, oh, okay. And so I started asking it questions, and by itself, it started building me like comparison charts. It's like, whoa, didn't think about that. So then I started asking it, okay, add this, add that, take this, take that. What about this particular feature? Which of these choices has that? And it just kept building better and better charts for me to help me make my decision. And it's like, I'm afraid that I've been so trained in Google's mentality that I have to ask it specific things. I can ask it ChatGPT much more general things and have it become valuable. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.